Yeah. Hello everybody, it's Michael Lee, working a new property today. So let me show you guys what's going on. Brand new property. This is the third day I've worked on this property. It's got an amazing view. Let's see. Now this property here is owned by a fine gentleman named Bill. It's got this big meadow in it. Big meadow. Big old growth valley oaks. I'm going to be doing a little bit of work on this far side. Just cleaning up the dead stuff and some minor thinning. There's the firewood pile. He only burns hardwoods. He doesn't want me to turn any of the pine I cut into firewood. He just wants me to turn the hardwoods into the firewood. So that'll be the oak, the toyonberry, the madrone. Yeah, that's all the hardwoods that will be on this property. So now you can see a lot of big dead trees, a lot of big dead ponderosa pines up here. And we will be cutting all of those down. We will be doing thinning. This is where we'll be working mostly, is around this area, the wild land where it meets the meadow. And we'll be thinning all this dead stuff out of here, because we don't want a fire to run through here and for it to be burning so hot and violently that it jumps the meadow and gets his house. So in order to prevent that, we got to do some major thinning here where the wilderness meets the meadow. We can call this the wildland urban interface, right? So we got to thin this area for fire safety. Now remember, there's a method to my madness when I work. If you learn anything from watching me work, make sure that you learn that you need to slow down, focus, inspect your property, inspect your trees, inspect the lay of the land, and come up with a plan. Don't just fire up your chainsaw and just start cutting willy-nilly. When I first got here, this meadow was covered by this nasty, non-native invasive weed called tarweed. This is tarweed. This stuff is horrible. It's like walking through razor blades. It cuts you up. It gets stuck to you. It gets stuck to your dogs. If you've got livestock, it gets all into their fur, into their nostrils, their ears, their eyes. This stuff is horrible and it stinks. And herbicide just does not do a good job on this stuff. You gotta weed whack it or burn it. So remember, there's my weed whacker set up. First thing I did was weed whacking, and I just went nuts. I did all of this, you guys, the first 2 days I was here working. I'm on my third day now. I did all of this with the weed whacker. Look at this. You guys, that's a ton of work. That right there is a ton of work. That's like 5 acres of weed whacking. Do you see this? I did all of this. Why? To get this horrible tarweed out of the way so I can walk and not trip over this stuff. It's all wiry. And, you know, if this prevents me from just falling just once while running my chainsaw, then it's worth every second I spent working my ass off weed whacking. Okay, so get all the crap cleared out of the way first so you can walk and access the trees that you're going to cut. Now, another thing I did, once again, it's my third day. So the first 2 days, I also came up with the position of my burn piles. There's one way back there, one close. I'm going to do one more right there, one more right there, and then one more right there. So I'll have 5 burn piles in total. Okay, so I haven't done any brush cutting. I'm going to do that next, and I'll brush cut around all of these dead trees I'm going to cut so I can access them easily and safely with my chainsaw. But what we're going to do today now, right now, is we're going to get this last section of the tarweed. Okay? I should be able to get this last section on 1 tank of gas with the trimmer line I've got left, and then we get to go home. So this is the last thing we have to do today. Let's finish strong. Bar oil and 2-stroke 51 oil gas mix, water, harness, eye protection, ear protection, head protection, hand protection, Husqvarna 525 RX trimmer and brush cutter. Today I'm using Husqvarna trimmer line. In a previous video I was using Echo. I went back to Husqvarna. I think Husqvarna cuts just as well as Echo, and it breaks less. So, and I put the guard back on because I learned that it's better for the longevity and health of your head gasket to keep the guard on, because it has this stabilizing screw in the metal brace. So it takes all the violence off of your head gasket and kind of distributes it more along the length of the machine. So let's get you set up over here, and then I'll get after it. Now this was a tree that was burnt by the campfire. Campfire ran through all these properties and burned them good. So this is campfire zone, everybody. Here's my stump vise. This is how I sharpen my chainsaw. I put my chainsaw here, put the bar in my vise, and it keeps it steady so I can sharpen the chain. Okay, I did not cut this tree. I believe FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency or whatever, I believe FEMA cut this, probably for no reason. It was probably still alive, and they probably just cut it for no reason so that they could get paid, because the government usually doesn't really need to exist for the most part, in my opinion. They just waste everybody's money. Harness, put on like a backpack, clips on. I tighten everything, cinch it up as tight as I can, and then so that way when I run the machine, I'm running the machine with my whole body, with my big muscle groups, my glutes, my quads, my abs, my paraspinal musculature. Okay? Don't just grip onto your weed whacker and try to thrash around using your grip strength. You're going to shred your grip strength, and you'll be done in 5 minutes. So, eye protection. This is Bugs wire mesh goggles. These are the best. It's what loggers wear and wildland firefighters. Bugs, B-U-G-Z, metal mesh eye protection. Husqvarna helmet, shield, ear protection. Husqvarna leather gloves. Alright, let's get it. You want to run your machine like this. It comes from here, right? Do not run your machine like this, right? No good. Whoa. You see the difference? All right.